you want to do 3 segments or 3 segments again, like we recorded last time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
1340 WJOL. It's Get Real with Eddie, and we are back once again. And again, this week, we got our co-host, Rebecca Willie from Radon Express. Rebecca, how are you?
Eddie, I'm great. Thank you for having me back.
I know. Welcome back. I am excited to get to today's guest because it is Derek Connolly. Did I say the last name right?
Yes, you did.
Well, there we go. I didn't even ask you before we started. Economic Development Specialist for the City of Joliet. And I am so excited to have you here. So this came about a couple of weeks ago. We saw that the Pottery Barn was announced that they're coming in with their discount store to Joliet. So I know that made a lot of people excited. And, you know, I've seen comments on social media about that. And I saw comments on other stuff. The one that always stands out in my mind, the city of Joliet was on a string of mattress stores for a while coming into the city of Joliet. That has died down, and there's been some, you know, the fair market process took over, and some places merged and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is I don't think the public understands when it comes to real estate, because that's what we're here and talking about, and when it comes to businesses, the city doesn't pick who comes to the city or not for the most part.
Yeah, that's right. For the most part, you know, we don't get to say you get to come in, but you don't. There's kind of a rhyme and reason why a business can open up, and it really comes down to zoning. So if it's a permitted use, you are more than welcome to come in and open up shop. We are not going to prevent that just because maybe we have too many mattress stores in one particular area. The market just kind of has to, you know, play its role there, and if it has to be weeded out, some of them have to go. But you know, we don't pick winners and losers. If it's zoned correctly, they're more than welcome to come in.
No, because I would say most of these businesses we're talking about in those aspects are businesses that are leasing the property. They're not buying the property. And in that case, you have a landlord or a property owner that would be very upset if the city said, no, you can't have that business there. If you started dictating and controlling who, what, when, and where, when it comes to the zoning or who goes in there. So the zoning is the kind of even playing field.
Right. The rules are kind of set up in advance. You know, the zoning is there, and if a permitted use wants to come in and go there, the city cannot stop it. Now, I mean, the zoning is there for, you know, a purpose. We don't want to throw, you know, a McDonald's down in the middle of a residential neighborhood, right? That's what the zoning prevents. But you know, we set up the rules beforehand with zoning, and if it's permitted, you know, we have no grounds to stop a commercial business from going into a commercial district just because there might be too many.
And it's intriguing. And that's the thing that's out there that people don't understand, that the zoning is what dictates where and how we go. What are some other special uses? You said if there's a special use. So from what I understand, and every municipality is different. I don't know what experience Rebecca has when it comes to zoning, because you guys are more of a online business, correct?
Correct. We do have a warehouse where we store supplies and stuff like that. For the most part, we're an online business.
But you're pretty much online. I mean, let's be honest. Real estate, there's 2 different models. There's an online, so when you're talking an actual facility.
Correct.
But we're just a regular commercial, so we don't need a special use. What would be something for a special use permit for City of Joliet?
Yeah, there are certain things that we just automatically want to take a closer look at just because, and it's nothing against those businesses, but maybe just by nature they have, they disrupt, you know, traffic flows or the surrounding neighborhood a little bit more than just, you know, your typical Pizza Hut that wants to go into a strip center. So I know some things that require a special use. There's something like truck parking because, you know, if you have a big parking lot where trucks are coming in and out all day, that's something that requires a special use just because of the impact on the surrounding area. Staffing agencies, because they typically have buses that come up, you know, and you have people coming in and on of buses a lot. So there's a lot of them out there. I think right now we're actually considering potentially a special use for gas stations also coming in because of some of the things that they bring with them also.
Well, they're putting chemicals into the ground,
Right.
and that makes complete sense.
Right.
So I understand that. I pay into the super fund that has to clean up when they can't find if something leaks or a responsible party. So yeah, so that's a big thing. So moving on from the gas station aspect, since you're here, let's talk City of Joliet. One of the biggest things that is coming in for new development is I-55 and Route 30 corridor. What's going in on and around in that area?
Right. So that's one of our biggest commercial corridors. And just a little bit ago, we did approve an IGA, or an intergovernment agreement, with Plainfield to put in a development they're calling the Boulevard. It's going to be about 500,000 square feet of retail, along with, I think they're looking for some hotel operators, and then I think the big development there is the Costco that's going in. So, and it's interesting because this is a development that's actually split between Plainfield and Joliet, so we kind of had to play along with each other. So, if you go in that corridor, you see, the Lewis Joliet Mall, and then you see Joliet Commons, Joliet Point. You actually have not a lot of vacancies there. We do have the Sears that is missing, and the Carsons that went under, obviously, but those were national trends. But that corridor is actually pretty strong, and this is just going to be adding more square footage over there. So.
And from what I know of those two stores were extremely successful. Like the Sears in Joliet was one of the last stores to close.
Yeah, that's right. And also, I mean, Sears kind of did this thing where they took all their good properties and they put them in one pot, and now is actually owned by a company called Seritage.
Okay.
And Joliet is one of those. It is in that pot.
Well, they, if I remember, from what I remember, because actually my first job was working for Sears. I'm dating myself now. But they owned that part of the mall.
Yeah, and that's actually something a lot of people don't know either, is
Yep.
that the mall, which is owned by Starwood, they own the middle of the mall, and then each anchor actually owns the building and the parking lot from it. So if you look at the whole mall as we think of it, the mall, it actually has 5 different property owners.
Wow, I did not know that. I didn't know the other ones owned. I knew Sears owned.
Yeah, Sears.
I thought J.C. Penney's was a lease and the rest of them were leases, but I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I know going back to the Costco development, because I've talked to Costco previously, and that's been a development going on, and that's where, like, the gas station, because you don't think about it, but you had 40, 50 years of trucks coming through and vehicles coming through, and each of those, okay, well, yeah, they're getting gas, but cars do leak oil.
Yeah.
And you've got a car comes in, one car leaks oil, but the number of vehicles times the number of years. There was a good EPA, from what I understand, cleanup on that site that Costco had to evaluate, had to do. So because that's been owned by Costco for like 5 or 6 years. And they've been, I know, looking into that. So that's just awesome. I know some people are really excited. What are some other big properties and things coming into Joliet?
Well, we do have a little bit of a focus on our downtown. We're seeing a lot of activity down there. I've been working for the city of Joliet for about a year and a half now, and I think since I've been there, we've had about 5 restaurants that have opened up or about to open up. I actually live in the downtown too. We turned the Barber building from an office building into 35 apartment units. It's fully leased. I live there. I love living there. Obviously, I also work in the downtown, so it's nice to walk to work. But, it was really impressive. Actually, last night I walked down to go get just a drink at Juliet's, and there was a big show at the Rialto. Just a ton of people. I mean, there was lines going around on Chicago Street and down Van Buren. It looked like probably 300 people just in line. So, and the marquee was nice and lit up. So. I think that's kind of driving a lot more activity in restaurants in our downtown. I think our downtown has been built on daytime population because you have the courthouse there, City Hall, county offices. We have had some headquarters that have moved in recently. So there was a 70 employees that have moved into the Catholic Charities building on Cass Street. And then above First Midwest Bank, there's also another Barrister Investigations moved in there, and they have about 60, 70 employees also. So those are people that are there during the day. And what we're really trying to focus on is how do we get more people there at night? Because if you're a restaurant, you want to make your money at lunch, and then you want to have a crowd at dinner. That kind of covers your bases for the day. So the Rialto having those shows is starting to pull in more and more people. You also have the Forge, which they have. That's another music venue in the downtown. They're pulling in more people. So
The Forge is always booked. They've always got shows.
yeah,
And they're pulling people out of the city. I see people come off the train
Yep.
and walk over there all the time, and they just always have things going on. And we went downtown. I want to say it was 176 is the name of the restaurant. Or was it the one with the numbers?
158.
158.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, I took my wife there, and the food was amazing. I mean, we're getting that quality of restaurants that you would see in the city of Chicago, and that their food was just outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some more options at night now. I mean, Chicago Street Pub has always been there, but then Migraine has opened up. They've been open for about 2 years. Cut 158, which was previously a restaurant, but now it's new ownership, new restaurant,
Yep.
honestly. And then Juliet's, which has been there a while. K Ribs has been open a while. Katrina's Mex, and then Jitters, which is where I get my coffee every morning. Chevrolet, Blue Taco.
Everybody that works downtown knows Jitters. I swear. I'm not a coffee drinker, if you can believe it, which shocks people because I'm usually bouncing off the walls. So, do you get downtown with you and your husband at all, Rebecca?
We do. Actually, my husband loves Migraine, and so we go down there as often as we can for that. But we're actually hoping to take the kids downtown to see a couple shows at the Rialto coming up. So we're excited about the progression, and having those apartment buildings can only hopefully bring more.
Yeah, and
more
I think
restaurants.
more and more people are wanting to live in apartments. I'm a millennial myself. Chose to live in an apartment. I really honestly don't have any desire right now to move into a house.
Well, the
so-
data would argue with that. I'll be honest. Actually, the millennials want to own more than they want to rent. Really quick, because we're coming up and we're going to take a break. There's some hotel developments, too, coming up in the downtown area.
Yeah, we are working with someone, and this is not a secret. There's someone who has purchased Baird's Hardware building, and he's looking to put a Marriott hotel in there. So we're still working through it. Sometimes these projects take literally years to put together. So we're very excited, and we're still working with them on that.
Well, that's exciting. I love seeing more stuff coming up. We went to, and everything the Rialto's doing and everything else that's going on downtown, we went down there, and there's nothing like going to see the Blues Brothers and watching it on the screen in the Rialto. So if you can stick around after the break, because we went a little long in our segment, we're going to talk about numbers for the city of Joliet and how they're doing in real estate. So if you can stick around for a few moments.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, after the break, we're going to talk numbers on Joliet and more here on 1340 WJOL.
Good. We got time for one more segment.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right. And welcome back at 1340 WJOL. Get Real with Eddie. If you want more information, visit us online at getrealwitheddie.com. And we have Derek here, Derek Conley, economic developer from the city of Joliet, along with my co-host for the day, Rebecca Willie from Radon Express. And we're talking city of Joliet numbers. So the new listings in city of Joliet are up 7.9%. We are up 20% in closed sales. Inventory of homes is 7.6% of inventory. It is down. So kind of still sticking with this trend that we're seeing on the residential side of people not looking to move, not looking to sell. People are staying in the houses longer, and it is having an impact on the market. I like to watch the trailing 12 months, as everybody that listens to me knows. The median sales price is $175 for the city of Joliet. That is up 4.2% on a detached. Average is $183.04. That is up 4.3%. Percent of original list price received is 96.8%, up 0.6%. And average market time is 56 days, down 5.1%. I mean, this just seems to be the trend, is for some reason, well, there's multiple reasons. I can think of a couple. People are not selling their house, and they're not moving, and the demand is still there. With your guys' radon mitigation business, are you guys seeing the lower transactions affecting your business, or is the demand for your services still there?
So the demand for our services are going to be there whether the real estate market changes or not, but a lot of our jobs are driven by the real estate transaction. So it definitely does affect the number of jobs we do on average, but now that the average consumer is becoming much more educated on radon, it's not the only factor.
And I think that's a big thing is, like you said, is the education factor on radon. We talked about that on the last show. The attached single family, new listings in the trailing 12 months are up 14.2%. That is a big number sticking out. And that has to do with a developer I know of in the city of Joliet that has decided to build a huge amount of attached stuff. So that you've got that anomaly in there that you're still seeing that effect. When you look month over month, it's up 55.6%. But the median sales price is $165, up 1.5%. Original, the average is $154.70, up 1.6%, and the average percentage of original list price 96.5, down 0.6, and average market time is 50 days. So you got 50 days on market for the attached. I mean, when you look at these numbers, is there anything that stands out either on the attached or detached for what you do, Derek? Because I know you watch residential. You don't pay it, not just the commercial stuff you're paying attention to.
Right. So, I work primarily with the commercial businesses or industrial businesses. And, I don't go out and try and look for people to do single family developments, but it is directly related to what I do, because if we're looking at bringing in like a 200 employee company, they're going to need a workforce. That is very, very important. That's what some would say is the number one important thing that they need a workforce. Well, those people have to live somewhere. So looking at these numbers kind of gives us an indication of, are they going to be able to hire the number of people that they need to fill their facility?
Yeah, and that's a big thing, is having that workforce and having that group of people. And they look at different factors, education level for an area, depending on what's coming in. They look at, what's available, the cost of housing, because that's going to dictate what they have to pay for an income.
Right.
So, I mean, there's so many different factors that come into play. One of the biggest things that stands out for me is the city of Joliet still offers a property that is below the median price for the nation. So when you look at what's out there nationally on a median price, and when you look at what the local median price is, and you're outside one of the top 3 cities in the entire country, if not world, outside the city of Chicago, we are way below in getting a really good price and bang for your buck living in the Joliet market. There is a really good return on investment. And the numbers I love to see personally is those rate of growths. That 4% growth on the single family, a 2% growth on attached. Those are normal market growths. Those are not bubble numbers. Everybody worries about the next bubble. And, especially when you start using the R word. My other co-host that serves in, Terry Trotter Early, she hates when I say the word, and I'm going to say it, recession. When you start talking of those aspects, historically, the last 5 recessions, only 2 of them affected real estate. One was like a national 2% drop, and that was because of other areas. I don't think it really impacted our area in Illinois and Will County. And the other one, we all know which one that was. And yeah, that was caused by real estate or bad banking practices. So, of course, we had a issue when it comes to real estate. So moving from that, I'm going to go into this home ownership rate remains high. And so there is the U.S. Census Bureau announced that home ownership rate of 64.8% was not significantly different from the rate in the third quarter of 64.4%, but was 0.7% points higher than the rate in the second quarter. Second quarter was 64.1. So we are seeing that trend and coming off of the Great Recession, of that home ownership rate and that desire. And we were talking in the last segment, you personally aren't looking to buy a house yourself just yet.
Yeah, that's correct.
But when we look at millennials, there's a lot of millennials. Actually, millennials has an 83% desire of home ownership.
Okay.
And that's the highest desire we've seen of any generation. So it's not, I think the reason why millennials, and this may be hitting a nail on your head, a lot of them, when I talk to them, the reason why they're not looking to buy is, well, I'm not sure about my job. I don't know where I'm going to be, which is anybody. If you are looking to buy a house, you should be going, okay, I'm going to be in this area at least 2 years, usually at least 2 years. 3 to 4 years is more substantial because you do have cost of buying and cost of selling. If you can't, you need 3 to 4 years usually to comfortably offset those. And that's when you're putting money down. Now, if you're buying on a 100% program, you might need a 5-year program. If you're getting down payment assistance or using something that's 100% financing, then yeah, absolutely for yourself. So if if you're going to be here for the next 5 years in Joliet, I tell you, get out of the apartment, stop renting, and go look and buy. But if you think you're going to not be in Joliet for within the next 5 years,
I am planning on being here, but it is very convenient to walk to work in the morning. So
that is convenient. See, but then you need more of a and that's for your lifestyle. You need to look at more of a condo and purchasing than and getting out because you're paying somebody's mortgage, just not your own. Really quick, just the hot property for this week. If you know a buyer that's looking to build themselves a property, we have a lot at 1909 Highland Avenue in Crest Hill. There is no house. You get to build your dream house, 48 feet wide, 132 feet deep, and the water tap-on fees are paid. So on your neck of the woods and in your side, do you deal with water tap-on fees, and do you understand?
Yeah, I mean loosely, but when it comes to more of commercial properties, and those are a lot more expensive.
Yeah, their water tap-on fees are a lot higher. For a local residential project, they can still be a huge impact on a business. $10,000 to $15,000 in some cases for a regular home, and that's a huge impact. So these fees are already paid. With that, did you guys just moved in the last year?
We did. We are still in Will County, south of Naperville.
Did you buy new or did you buy pre-existing?
Pre-existing.
So you didn't have to go through the whole purchase and building or anything like that? Because I could see your husband building a house from the scratch down.
We're in talks. Let's just say that. Yeah.
In talks of building?
In talks of building, yeah.
Well, there's a great lot in Crest Hill. Matter of fact, there's two side by side. Both of them are $30,000 each. So there's an option for you if you are looking to buy a property, and maybe build on 2 lots instead of 1.
I'll have Scott give you a call.
You should. So, and if you're going to give me a call on that lot, folks, it's 815-823-5478. You can reach me at Baird Warner. Again, 815-823-5478. Coming up, we're going to be talking about forgetting about the price of the home. Rebecca, when you guys bought, would you forget about the price of the home?
There's so many more factors that go into it.
There is.
Just the price of the home.
And we are going to talk about those factors after we get back after the break. Stick around, folks, here on 1340 WJOL. 1340 WJOL. Get real with Eddie. Don't forget, check out everything when we're not on air. You can see, listen to old shows. Check out our new articles coming up, and even check out the sponsors that we are working on that are and some of the other co-hosts too. So, Rebecca.
Yes, Eddie.
Forget the price of your house. It's the cost that matters. This is a pretty interesting article because they talk about basically looking more at the cost versus the price. So home prices in January 2019, a family with a median household income in the U.S. could afford to buy a $373,900 home. By August, that home had appreciated to $395,000. That is an increase
Wow.
of $21,100.
Wow.
That was this year.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's this year. And that is the median household income in the U.S. and what they could afford to buy.
Wow.
So those buyers can come into this market anytime because we have plenty of houses way below that market price, which is another advantage of, like I said, buying in this area.
Right.
You know, when you're buying in this area, you have an advantage because we are way below that national median price. What other things stuck out from you on this concept?
For me, a lot of it had to do with the interest rates. You know, the 0.85% point drop in mortgage rates from January increased affordability by 9.7%, which is, I mean, a $40,000 improvement in home buying.
That's huge.
It's huge.
I mean, so you're talking it's huge, and I tell clients all the time, well, I'm trying to save up. I'm trying to save up. You can't right now. You can't outsave the market.
Right.
You're thinking old school. You're thinking a traditional market growth of 3%, but even then, it was very hard because a lot of people weren't saving 3%.
Right.
You know, so it's hard to save up and try to deal with that kind of growth. It gets very complex. I think you need to look at different avenues of financing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Most people know, okay, well, I can buy conventional or I can buy FHA. All right. Well, you also have down payment assistance programs.
Right.
All right. Now, not all down payment programs are smart. You got to look and weigh your options. I mean, I know of a client right now, they were going down payment. The client kept saving. We're not doing down payment assistance.
Okay.
They're going to get a lower interest rate, and that $6,000 they were getting for down payment help was costing them an extra $3,000 to do the loan. So what? I mean, honestly, what kind of major it gets you in the house?
Right. But that's about all. And it's helpful to have people around you who are, like you said, walking you through that process. You know, just because the traditional way to go about it is to save X amount of dollars and then start looking and I mean, there's so many more options out there. And one of the really interesting things about what the study that First American came out with is really you need to take into effect the home prices, mortgage rates, and wages. It's about everything as a whole, not just what the house, the price of the house is listed for.
It is. And it's and also how's the rate going up?
Right.
You know, that's the biggest focus I going. Look, okay, well, it's $1,000. Yeah, but you're going to get into a property at $200,000. The market is going up at 5% right now. So that means if we stay consistent by next year, all right, you're going to have $10,000 in equity in this house.
Right.
So to go back and forth on $1,000. Now, another way to beat the market, and I tell my clients this all the time, one extra house payment.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in that first 5 years, if you can make one extra house payment starting day one, I'm not talking, okay, your house payment's, $1,600. All right. Probably $600 of that is taxes.
Right.
So you have to make an extra $1,000 a month, a year on that. That's but pay an extra $100 a month.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you can cut 7 years out of your mortgage.
Well, I think that's a great tip. I think people focus so much on getting into the home and what they have to do to get into the home and the money they have to save and all of that. But once you're in there, the point is to pay the loan down
as fast
as possible. And so little tips like that, overpaying, when you can, I mean, that really goes a long way to seeing the benefits of being a homeowner.
So there used to be this, if I buy a house for $100,000, it's really costing me $300,000
Right.
for the life. I sat down and I ran numbers one day.
Okay.
Took a $200,000 house. Okay. At 4% interest rate, it's actually 1.5 times. That gives you a true definition of how low these interest rates are.
Wow.
So at 4%, a $200,000 house, if I make 0 payments ahead, I just pay every house payment on time, like like they want me to,
Right.
without paying anything in advance. It's actually $300,000. But if you turn around and you pay those advances, you can cut, like I said, 7 years off that. That's a lot of interest.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
If we go back up to 6%, that $200,000 house now goes from a 1.5% return, all right, a 50% return for the bank, goes to now 100%. That $200,000 now at 6% goes to $400,000.
Wow.
So that's where that belief came. Well, three
Right,
times,
right.
It went back. I mean, there was a time when 8 or 9% was considered a low interest rate.
Right.
I got mentors in this industry that are still here. They remember doing and selling real estate when interest rates were at 18%.
Well, I remember when we bought our first home, my dad said to me, my first home interest rate was 10%, and that was a good deal, back in the day. So it's crazy to think about where they are now.
Well, it is, and it isn't, because part of that has to do with technology. You don't have as many hands that you once were,
Right.
having to fund a deal and get those deals closed.
Right.
You've got computers now that can process and do certain things, so that has expedited, made things not only faster, but have made things cheaper.
Right.
Do I ever think we're get back up? Yeah, you always can get back up to a 10 or a 12 or a 20. That's an economy.
Right.
If there is nobody buying or nobody selling and they need a return on investment, they got to get that return, and those numbers have to come somewhere.
Right. That's true.
You can't just say because of technology that can't happen. Anything could happen. One of the other things that we talked about it actually last week on last week's show that we're not talking about too when you're looking at trying to save money, and that is if you've earned your VA benefit,
Right.
take advantage of
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
100% down, 100% financing program. You need 0 down to buy, and if you have earned that right, and it is earned, take advantage of it, because you can absolutely get yourself into a house and stop. As I've said multiple times, you're paying a mortgage. Do you want to pay your own, or do you want to pay somebody else's?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just huge thing. So, we talked about how you are highly involved in the Three Rivers Association.
Yes.
And if I'm correct, you're also a little bit involved in this event coming up. We have the chili cook-off going on tomorrow, folks. And this is a Three Rivers event, but it is going to be open to the public. So if anybody is in the Shanahan area, Riverhawk Brewing at 24735 West Ames Street in Shanahan, stop on out. It is for non-members, $10 to get in, not into the door of the brewery. You can get into the brewery, but if you want to get into the chili cook-off and see how realtors cook chili, I'm telling you, there has been some amazing chilies. Definitely something you want to check out. And you are a sponsor of the event?
I am. Radon Express is a drink sponsor. I am a former chili cook-off champion, 2017. So I'm cooking again this year to try to hold up my throne.
Hold up your throne?
Took a year off last year just so I didn't, have to deal with the humiliation of losing.
Oh, you didn't want to defend the championship.
But I'm back to take it back. But to your point, we have some really amazing sponsors. The affiliates of Three Rivers stepped up, and they're doing a great job sponsoring this event. And then the other thing I think that's important is all proceeds from the 50/50 raffle go to sponsor wreaths for Wreaths Across America, which is an amazing thing.
It is an amazing thing. Wreaths Across America, they're down at Abraham Lincoln Cemetery, laying wreaths on the soldiers that have passed, and throughout the entire nation. I mean, so that is just awesome. And, if you're a business that wants to get involved with the association, reach out to Three Rivers and give them a call and talk to them. You can call Molly at 815-744-4520. There's great opportunities for you if you are involved in this marketplace to grow your business. We do amazing things. Our YPN locally and at the state are amazing. Matter of fact, we got a award. We didn't talk about it on the last show in San Francisco, but we won state YPN for the entire nation.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah.
So I luckily I happen to be the one. I'm the YPN chair for the state association, so I got the privilege of going up to get the award. But it was for them, that whole team, that community, and our staff at the state level, and our YPNs throughout the entire state are just hands down amazing. And the fact that they're doing the 50-50 proceeds for REITs across America are just one more thing that the realtor community is out there doing on a daily basis. I mean, we're your neighbors, we're your brothers, we're your sisters, we're out there supporting our communities on an ongoing trend. So this is not old. This is something always going on. I know my own company does it. We just gave a $24,000 check to Moose Heart in the fall.
Oh, wow.
So it was just awesome. So, well, thank you for coming back and co-hosting. If you want more information, we're going to have check out Rebecca up on our website. Get Real with Eddie, and stick around, ladies and gentlemen, for ABC News.